family and friends. Hello. Thank you once again for stopping by. This is my 6th time trying to do this video today. Apparently, whatever I decide to talk about is not working out. My phone just doesn't like me. I don't know. I wanted to say a big thank you to my beautiful mother-in-law. Although she might not know this, she is a huge influence in a lot of the hobbies that I've started to pick up, which is really awesome. I never really had hobbies growing up. My hobby was going to work and making money and coming home with money. And, going to school too. That was part of my priority as a child. But thanks, Mom. Love you. Mwah. As some of you, well, actually a lot of you already know, my biological mother passed away in 2013. I really do miss her. Although there are some things that a parent doesn't really think about when they're going through it, but I still love her nonetheless. So, anyway, moving on with that. My mother-in-law gave me a really good idea to start chronologically and kind of talk about me from the beginning, starting from my teenage years and kind of going from there. But I decided that I'm going to go a little bit further back. Way back there. Now, I wanted to point out, in case you people didn't know, I have a scar on the top of my forehead. Now, I have this scar since everybody has ever met me, seen me. It's always been there. And I'm going to tell you why I have it. A lot of people don't ask me why or where or how I got the scar. Some that did got the story, and the majority of the world still has not asked, which is really cool and really nice knowing that, if I had this big old thing on my forehead, no one would really ask. And then some people haven't even noticed that it's there. Yeah, I have a couple of scars. There it is. 1 and 2. So, going back to when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I was walking to school with my mom and one of my older brothers. It was preschool or kindergarten that I was going into. Let's see, I'm 5, so I was probably going into preschool. So I was walking in New York before I moved to Anchorage, Alaska, and I had my hands in my jacket kind of like this. And so the arms were kind of just flapping out. And I slipped and fell because it was a very snowy, wintry, cold day. And I fell face down. And when I fell face down, I went ahead and tried to catch myself. That didn't work out successfully. Busted out my teeth. Yay, I got my normal teeth, so that didn't affect my teeth that badly. I did get a scar on my nose, but most people can't see that. And then I got 2 rocks stuck in my forehead. Yeah, so I ended up wanting to go to school that day anyway, and even as a little girl, I was really determined to be able to just go to school. I just wanted to go to school. There's a lot of reasons behind that, mainly because it was usually cold in my home in New York, and we barely ever had food, and it wasn't fun being at home. I'd rather be at school with a whole bunch of people. So I went to school with this bloody face, and I remember walking, and the teachers were like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to you? Oh my gosh, what happened to you?" And so, my mom says, "This is what happened." They take me to the nurse. They put a bandage on me. I'm pouring out my eyes, and they asked me, "Do you want to go home?" And I looked at my mom, and I remember seeing her face like, "Don't say you want to go home. Just don't say you want to go home." So I was like, "No, I want to stay at school." And my mom was like, No, honey, are you sure? Are you sure? I said, "No, I want to go home." Or I don't want to go home, sorry. And so I didn't go home. I ended up going to school, but I got teased from that day forward until, my elementary school life sucked. It really did. And I just dealt with it, and I would just tell kids to shut the F up and just to keep going, which was, I guess, I just didn't know how to deal with things like that. But yes, that's where I got my scar. One other scar that a lot of people don't know about, unless you're my wife, perhaps, but I have a scar on my tongue. I don't know if you guys can see that. The scar on my tongue came from a very, very embarrassing story, which I'm just going to go through very briefly. And again, I'm doing this because I just want to get out there and be all in the open, forcing myself for all of this information to just come out of my mouth. I stuck my tongue in the freezer and got it stuck in the freezer. Yeah, I did that. I decided, my brother and I were doing like a prank. So my brother and I, when I was probably, I'm guessing about four or five. My brother was a little bit younger. We had our own little language. If you have siblings, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then it's just a weird language. So we had our own little language, and we were drinking Sunny Delight. We love Sunny Delight, and my brother was scraping ice out of the side portion of the freezer. You know those big freezers where if you're younger, if you're way younger, you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But if you're my age, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The freezer has like the gross stuff on the walls, the icy stuff. So my brother scrapes them off and puts them in his cup. He just puts them in his cup. And he said, "Oh, my Sunny D is so delicious." I was like, "Oh, I want to do that too." So we kept doing that. And we kept drinking the Sunny D. And then he goes, "You know what? I dare you. I dare you. I bet you can't lick it off." And I said, "Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Of course, me. I can do anything I want." So I go into the fridge. I lick it once. I'm good. I lick it twice. I'm good. I lick it thrice. And I got stuck. And this was at the time where my mom came home from work. My brother was asleep. My mom was asleep. So my mom did taxi driving in New York. Also in New York. And I just was screaming. I remember like my face stuck in the freezer just like this. And just yelling. So my brother pulls me out and my mouth is all bloody. And my mom decides to put sugar on my tongue. Although it helped, I don't really know about cuts and having sugar placed on them. Not salt, sugar. So we go to the hospital. The hospital thinks I'm in some type of child abuse. As to why, I'm not sure. I don't know if I was extra thin little girl or if I have no idea. But those are two stories from my childhood that you got. The scar and my tongue. Both learned my lesson. Never lick a freezer. For those of you who are younger, don't lick the freezer. Bad idea. Bad idea. And for those of you who live in Alaska still, don't walk inside with your hands in your jacket. Problem solved. Or perhaps just get gloves. Or do the nun thing where they put their hands in the jackets. That's how I used to walk. Just like this. I used to keep my hands warm. But yeah, that's a little update on me. I've also decided that I'm not going to do more than 1 or 2 videos a week. So this is my first video of this week. Last week you saw 2 times of me singing horribly happy birthday. Go to my YouTube channel if you want to listen to me like screech, like nails on a chalkboard. Horrible. Don't ever, I cannot sing. Never ever. Which is why I also don't do karaoke. So thanks once again. I will disclose a little bit more of my stories. How I got, my hair cut short, maybe? I don't know. I'll think about it some more. My mother-in-law gave me some really great ideas, so I have a lot to come with. So thanks once again. Have an awesome day. And guess what? It's hump day. What? It's hump day. What? Adios.